This spring is our 9-year anniversary since purchasing the land that would become Red Poppy Ranch. And after trying to live with Mother Nature for the last 9 years, I've realized that this time of year she'll be done when she's done. Okay, so right up there is the knob where this trail, this new part of this trail takes off from. And for the last month, I've been staring at the knob, just kind of thinking about that last little curve that I need to come around to make the trail get to this back part of our property that I've really never been able to get to, at least using my own property. And the excavator is ready to go. It's sitting over there, but the question right now is how much snow is up there. I've opened that trail up a couple times, but I'm going to jump on the four-wheeler and run up there real quick just to kind of see if I'm going to be able to get the side-by-side up there. Basically, the last place I stopped is now so far up there that it's quite a chore to get everything up there. So what I need to do is use the Ranger to haul the fuel and things like that up there, because it doesn't make sense to bring the excavator all the way back down here to fill up. So real quick, I'm going to use the wheeler and run up there and see if I'm even going to be able to get up to where I need to start from. So there we go. My ability to get up this trail literally changes by the minute this time of year. Depending on how cold the overnight low was will determine if the snow is hard enough for the wheeler or the side-by-side to get enough traction to get up the side of the mountain. And on a day like today, I can see that Mother Nature's going to make me work for it just a little bit, but I think the wheeler's going to make it. Well, it's a lot easier to turn the four-wheeler around and get it back down the mountain than it is the Ranger, but now that I ran the wheeler up the trail, I should be able to get the Ranger up there. We made it. I wasn't sure if the Ranger was going to get up here or not, but I'm going to try something I've never done before. I'm going to try, rather than following the trail all the way back around, the excavator is basically right down at the bottom of the mountain right here. I'm going to try and go straight down to it and maybe get a perspective on my property I've never had before. This is right down below the bald spot where the switchback starts, and this is the steepest part of the land that we own on this side of this mountain. And the brush and the trees are so thick that just getting down the side of the mountain takes quite a bit of effort. I'm now walking through a grove of Doug fir trees that I've been staring at for the last 5 years, looking out my bedroom window while I edit videos, but this is the first time I've ever walked through the grove. So the idea that I've been able to work on this trail through winter for the last 2 winters in a row all goes back to the fact that I secured those chains to the tracks on my excavator. I still need a new set of tracks for the excavator, but I'm hesitant to get new tracks because I know that I'm going to need the traction that these chains give me. If anything, like I said, I've been considering putting a second set of chains on the tracks because they're so effective when they're needed. As a matter of fact, I think I've convinced myself that I will never own anything but a rubber tracked excavator for this reason. Once I get the first lane of the trail cut up the side of the mountain and the trail established, I'm going to have to go over it and make it wide enough for at least 2 four-wheelers to pass on it safely. But I'm now getting so close to the end point with this trail that it's kind of driving me crazy not being able to get up here and work. I have flown my drone around and I've identified the tree that I'm trying to aim the trail directly at, which should also be right on top of this ridge that I've been trying to get to forever. And at this moment, I'm about 150 feet away. With all the uncertainty in the world at the moment, the one thing I do know for certain is that when I get up here and I start working and I simply pay attention to nature, I always have a beautiful day. I've now got the elevation to make the curve. Actually, where I'm trying to get is over there by those 2 dug firs. I can see from right here I'm already high enough in elevation so I can start making the curve. I can start making this curve to get around to the other side of my property over there. I've been waiting to do this for such a long time. I can't wait to look over that ridge and see the back of my property from a trail that I made with the excavator. I suppose a guy could find a few things in his life to complain about when life gets a little bit challenging, but I've come to the conclusion that almost everything I do up here is going to be challenging, but for some reason it feels like this trail has had some opposition from the jump. It's taken me over 2 years now to do something that I thought I would get done in a few months. But as I'm approaching the finish line, I can see I've got a few obstacles in my way. But I want you to imagine this. From the bottom of our property, approximately 5,500 feet, to the very top of this mountain, at an elevation of 6,700 feet. We now have a trail that's about a mile, maybe a little bit over a mile long, that maybe you could come and hike, maybe stay in one of the cabins, and you can see why we like it so much here. Well, it is the end of the day. You can hear that big Doug fir back behind me. A couple of them up there just swaying in the wind. What's funny is if you're down here in the maples, you don't feel the wind, but boy, you can sure hear the Doug firs. This is kind of a cool little spot back up in here. I'll bet money that when the snow melts that there's deer and elk tracks. This is a spot that I'll bet a little bit of water accumulates, and I'm going to dig this out. This is another spot that I'm going to try and turn into a little bit of a retention pond. But tomorrow the trail goes, you can see through the trees, you can see the Doug fir over there. I'm now basically high enough, I'm just trying to find the best path to get over there. And it drops down, you can see it quite a bit. There's some crazy little, I don't know what you'd call them, little finger ridges, I guess is what you'd call them. But I love it when I find these big trees with what looks like a little safe place for wildlife. So anyway, get back up here tomorrow. All right, so we've been asked over and over again what our plans are with the fallow deer, and fallow deer have been referred to as the king's venison. It is said that the fallow deer is the best tasting of all the venison. I have yet to taste fallow deer, but very soon I will be able to taste fallow deer, and then I can tell you how I personally feel about it. But the old buck right there, he's gonna go away real soon. He's lived a good life. The long-term plan is basically we're never going to get rid of any does. As long as the does are viable and they can produce offspring, we're going to have as many deer around our place as the pens can support. And in order for that to work, I need to have multiple pens. As soon as I get this upper pen finished, I will move all the deer up there for hopefully what is the summer. The long-term plan is to use this lower pen right here basically just for winter time. And I'm going to try really hard to get all this in grass this year when the deer aren't down here. But the bottom line is our plan is to use and process these fallow deer like we would any other livestock. They're considered livestock by the state of Idaho. I have to treat them accordingly. They're expensive to keep. So typically the way guys use fallow deer, the way fallow deer are often sold, is within high fence hunting ranches. I would say that's their primary value, is to be able to go hunt a big buck like him. A guy would probably pay somewhere between $4,000 and $5,000 depending on where it's at. I don't know how much of that we're gonna do. I really don't. I have some other ideas on how we are going to process and use the meat from the bucks. But if you pay attention to these does, there's quite a few of them that are pregnant. I can see right here, she's got at least twins. Let me think. Last year we got 6 babies out of 4 does. We had 2 sets of twins last year, I think, if that's right. Maybe 3 sets. I don't remember. And that was only out of 4 does. And this year, I'm positive all 6 of them are now pregnant. So the long-term plan, I will raise the bucks up. Okay. So I at the moment I have 7 bucks. The old buck is going to go away real soon. The other bucks we will raise. But most fallow deer bucks are harvested between about that 3 and 4 year old age. So 5 of the 6 deer that were born last year were bucks. And this is where the value really is. Over the next year and a half, they're going to get little short spikes like the other one, wherever he's at. And those little short spikes are incredibly dangerous, incredibly dangerous. I've already lost 2 deer because of injuries from each other. And so we're not going to let that happen anymore, which means I have to separate the bucks. Then I have to take those young bucks and I'm going to cut their antlers off, because at this moment, all these bucks are very interested in doing this with their heads. And what they start to do as they mature and as they get older is they start to get more and more aggressive towards each other. And as we get closer to what would be the rut, so October, September, November of next year, But hopefully real soon here, we're going to have some news to share with you about the future of our fallow deer and how you can enjoy it. My excavator, about a mile up the side of the mountain. This is the problem with Idaho. It's supposed to be 50 on Saturday. That's what I got to do on days like today when it's snowing like that and I can't get up to the excavator. I'm just trying to go over the truck and do everything I can. I've been working on this piece of trim right here for probably the last hour. Some old man went over this truck with every screw he could find to make sure the trim didn't fall off. And it doesn't bother me. I'm going to leave those screws, but I want the trim to fit the way with the body, and that piece was pretty banged up. But anyway, I'm just trying to go over the truck and get all the little details finished up while the weather is preventing me from getting back outside and finishing that trail. Soon enough, the weather's going to be beautiful, and I'm going to have the chance to get outside and do whatever I want, and I'm not going to want to be in the shop working on this truck when the weather is nice. So I'm going to continue to chip away on it and see if I can get all the little details finished up with the body, and then once that carpet kit shows up, we're going to get it installed. So this truck's bad. Well, after getting another overnight 4 inches of snow, I finally got back up to the excavator, and this is the last part of the trail that I've been looking forward to for so long now. The progression of the maple trees and the age of the particular groves as they go down the side of the mountain is very interesting to me. This particular grove right here is younger, in the probably 30 to 40 year old range, where down lower, where there seems to be more water, we have trees that I would guess are every bit of 110, maybe even 120 years old. But right here where the trees haven't been as long, the topsoil is not anywhere near as thick as it is down lower. Down low, the topsoil is 2 to 3 feet thick, where up here it's about 8 to 12 inches. I decided to get the drone out and make sure that I was aiming for the right spot on this ridge. And the more I look at it, the more I realize I can probably level out a little bit and actually come in a little bit higher to this point that I've been trying to get to. So I'm aiming just to the right of the dug fir at the top right of your screen, which should bring me right into this bald spot on this ridge that I am trying to get to. And this is the spot that I've been trying to get to now for 2 years. Those trees right there are what I'm aiming at. I got the drone out just to make sure that I'm still on track to hit that little bald spot. I want to do this right so I don't lose elevation, and I can now see exactly what I need to aim for. Sun's finally coming out. We probably had 4 inches of fresh snow up here at least. But I really want to get this done. I'm trying to get this final piece of this trail cut in. Once I get over to that point, I will then explain why it's so important to be able to get my excavator, frankly, to be able to just get up here in general. And if I do this right, I should come out right on that bald spot there, which should be the perfect spot to kind of reevaluate if I need to do any more trails. But once I get over there, I will explain why this trail is so important, or I will show, actually, I'll show you why this is so important. Well, just when I think I'm about to accomplish something significant that I've really been working hard for the last couple of years, I'm reminded that not everything goes as planned. I swear I've had all kinds of resistance getting this trail done for some reason. I probably lost 8 or 10 bucket teeth. I probably lost the pin to the bucket 3 different times. That motion of sweeping with the bucket, the pin likes to pop out, and it just popped out and I didn't see it. So I'm basically done for the day whether I like it or not. But the bottom line is I'm like 60 feet away from this place I'm trying to get to, and now I need to go track down this bucket pin. So I've probably got less than a half day's worth of work to get this finished up. But so in the process of digging, when I found that piece of stone, I mean, it's probably less than 2.5 or maybe 3 inches thick, and somehow that didn't break when it came out of the ground. There's about a dozen spots that I can think to use that as a stepping stone. So I've found a whole bunch of rocks that are really thin. For some reason, there's a whole bunch of the, I don't know what they're called, sedimentary rock, something like that, where I don't believe it's a sandstone or a limestone, but occasionally I get into these rocks where they're really thin, and I just, whenever I see them, I can think of places to use them. So somehow I managed to get that piece of stone out of the ground without breaking it. I think I'm going to put that in Cedar's garden down there. But the pin, I got to go find this bucket pin. So hopefully I can go run to town real quick and find one and get back up here and get working. Because I'm so high up on the mountain, I actually have perfect cell service right here, and I called my Bobcat dealership and I asked them if they happen to have the bucket pin for my excavator. Unfortunately for me, it's a week out. So I'm not going to wait a week, but I can't finish the job here today. I mean, I have to figure out another way to make a bucket pin for this thing and get back up here and get it finished. But in the meantime, we wanted to say thank you for hanging in here with us at Red Poppy Ranch. And one way or the other, we're going to get this trail finished and get it finished soon. Be safe out there, and we'll see you soon.